Welcome. Here we are for another edition of Eskimo Bob Lives. It's Monday, right around noon, and it's a little different format than what you're used to, I'm sure. I know it's different than what I'm used to, but that's what we're all about here, because this Eskimo Bob Lives isn't going to be tied down to any one format. It isn't going to be justified in any way, because I'm not. Does that make any sense? Absolutely not. Let's have her take it away. Is this getting awkward for anyone else besides me? That about sums it up. It's true. Yeah, she forgave me, by the way. I only need half. I live. Oh yeah. Sing that, Nanette. Sing it like you mean it. All right. It is Eskimo Bob Lives. Thank you, my bobbers, for tuning in. This is the most ridiculous thing ever. So here we are, Monday, January 9th, 2012 already. It's hard to believe that we've come to this point in our life and come to this point in time. And yet here we are, sitting down together. And this came about just by happenstance. I wasn't planning on doing this at all. I had a appointment that was late for a job interview, and as I was walking in the hallways, I came across this, and I thought, I'm going to do a little PSA, and we're gonna make this happen. This is a pamphlet, I Can't Be an Alcoholic Because. It was written by David C. Hancock. It was originally written in 1979. About the pamphlet, Denial of Chemical Dependency Allows Alcoholics to Continue Drinking. This pamphlet explores 6 commonly used denial statements and explains why they are wrong. We won't go through all 6. I'll just cover a couple of them. But before we begin with that, let's be real for a second. Fallacies, misconceptions about alcoholism. It's a common saying among alcoholics that the alcoholic is the last person to know that he or she has a problem with drinking. Spouse, family, employer, friends, and sometimes even the police may know it long before the alcoholic will admit that drinking is causing trouble. As long as alcoholics refuse to accept that their drinking is causing trouble, they will do nothing about the problem. There are many misconceptions about the nature of alcoholism that keep people from admitting a drinking problem. Many people say, I can't be an alcoholic because A, I'm not out on the streets, B, I never drink before 5 p.m. F, I never drink hard liquor. C, I only drink on weekends. L, I'm too young, and I can quit anytime. Let's take a closer look at each of these statements. And again, we're not going to take a look at each one. I'm just going to look at a couple of them. So, I'm just going to start off with this first one because it's right there on the page. I can't be an alcoholic because I don't live on the streets. This is the most common fallacy. It is? It's the most common fallacy among alcoholics, that they're not an alcoholic because they live on the streets, or they don't live on the streets. All right. I'll take his word for it. I'm not an alcoholic, although just because I denied it, I could potentially be an alcoholic. It's not a joking matter. It's a true statement. So anyway, this is the most common fallacy among alcoholics and the general public. The idea that all alcoholics are falling down drunk on the streets is a misconception. Most people do not know that these drinkers represent only a small percentage of our nation's alcoholics. Many alcoholics still have jobs, maintain families, and get along, but they often have a difficult time because of their drinking. Any person can be an alcoholic. Women, men, priests, rabbis, ministers, lawyers, doctors, teachers, students, bankers, nurses, carpenters, homemakers, and secretaries. Let's see. It did cover bankers, okay. It did not cover dog walkers. So if you're a dog walker, you're good to go. It didn't mention CEOs. So you're good to go. Nor human resource management or radio personalities. All right. So we are free and in the clear. But homemakers. Alcoholics also come from a full spectrum of racial and ethnic groups. Caucasian, African American, Latino, Native American, and Asian American. But if you're just full Asian, you're okay. If you're African, you're all right. I'm sure if you're African European, you're okay. Caucasian, I guess those are Europeans, or could be Europeans as well. But it's looking mostly like just Americans, and people on the American continents are those that can be alcoholics. We're screwed. They can be earning executive salaries, getting on by minimum wage, or coping with unemployment. Though some alcoholics are poor, out on the streets, or homeless, many are not. Alcoholism can affect anyone, even someone who still has a job, makes good money, or lives at home. If you frequently drink to intoxication, or if you have trouble stopping when others do, then do something about your drinking. If you have lost the ability to say no to a drink or to stop drinking once you've started, you have a drinking problem. Don't kid yourself. People are alcoholics because they have become dependent upon alcohol. They develop a psychological, physiological addiction coupled with a psychological compulsion that destroys their ability to control their drinking or behave responsibly when drinking. If people are so addicted that they continue to drink, they will, in all probability, become unemployable, although it may take a number of years for alcoholics to reach that stage. We must never forget 9/11. We must never forget that alcoholism or addiction to alcohol is a progressive and fatal disease. The only hope, the only way alcoholics can save their lives is to learn to live without alcohol. Let's see what's another one. This is a good one. I only drink on weekends. Many people believe that all alcoholics drink great quantities every day, or that alcoholics are drunk all the time. But many alcoholics can go long times without taking a single drink. Some alcoholics stay dry for weeks, months, or even years. It is not necessarily or how often one drinks that determines a drinking problem. It is the inability to stop drinking once he has started. Or she. Come on. Gender appropriateness here. People may drink only on weekends, but if they often or regularly get drunk on weekends, then they have a drinking problem. If drinking causes them continuing difficulty in any area of life, job, family, health, finances, they need help. And what about your weekend drinking? Is that the high point of your week? Do you look forward to it with great anticipation and find it hard to wait until Friday night? Would your weekend be spoiled if you couldn't drink? In some cases, the meaning of one's drinking is more significant than the amount. Remember Hancock's law. The more important your drug of choice is to you, the more it means to you, the more you feel that it does for you, the more trouble you are going to have with it. Sorry, I think I didn't deliver that with the amount of punch that it deserves. One more time. The more important your drug of choice is to you, the more it means to you, the more you feel that it does for you, the more trouble you are going to have with it. There we go. Anyone who drinks should consider this. The person who has a glass of wine only on a holiday is not going to have much of a problem with alcohol. But people who cannot have a good time or be comfortable without alcohol, people who drink in order to be accepted or to project a certain image, people who drink to deal with boredom, frustration, loneliness, or anxiety, and people who drink to cope or change the way they feel, these drinkers are headed for trouble. So those are wise words from David C. Hancock, and just another reason why Eskimo Bob lives.